and welcome to the Beauty Know-It-All. It's exciting things that are launching in 2018. Obviously, as a journalist, one of the things I get is a little sneaky peek preview of what's coming up. And I've basically gone through what's happening in the first 2 months with some hints about what's happening beyond that. And I've picked out my most exciting things to look out for. Basically ones to watch that are coming up in 2018. Let's start with serums. I'm a serumaholic, obviously, so let's start with serums that I've actually put on my Instagram, which you won't be surprised to hear that I'm excited about. It's basically about active ingredients that are beginning to appear increasingly on the high street, driven probably by companies like The Ordinary and Deciem. We're beginning to look for active ingredients in our high street skincare, and why shouldn't we? Because we deserve the best, our skin deserves the best, and at a reasonable price. So let's start with launching first quarter 2018, La Roche-Posay Hyalu B5, which is pantothenic acid. That's the vitamin B5, which is reparative and soothing. It's all about building your skin's barrier function, which essentially makes your skin healthier and happier with a whole host of hyaluronic acid. I've actually used this quite a lot. It's a really beautiful serum. It's got silicone in it, which means that it's got a lot more slip. It's not watery, it's not sticky. It means it's kind of perfect for January, February, March, cold weather. If you're going skiing, if you've got dry skin, it makes a beautiful, beautiful makeup base. Does not pill at all. I did ask them why they put silicone in it, and it's very interesting because the silicone doesn't prevent the active ingredients going into the skin, but it just does give it a beautiful velvety slip feel. So if you find hyaluronic acid sticky, annoying, pilling, tightening, which is kind of quite good for me if you're my age, but if you've got dry skin, maybe not. And if you love to wear a liquid foundation and you want a good base for it, that's my serum to watch that's coming up, I think January or February. I'll put all the details below. Anyway, I love hello Yogi. I love La Roche-Posay. That's my cat, by the way. It's a brand that I always think, if somebody says to me, my skin is playing up, I don't know what to do, how do I get back to basics? I always send them down to their local pharmacy, their local chemist, their local drugstore, and say, pick up La Roche-Posay. Unscented, obviously, just, it's a great brand. I love it. That's a really interesting serum to try, quite reasonably priced. From the same stable, this is Vichy Lift Active Vitamin C Brightening Skin Corrector. It's a 15% pure vitamin C. It's an ascorbyl acid. You're making quite enough noise down there, Yogi. Somebody did go on my Instagram page and say that for the size, this does work out quite expensive. It's 10 ml. What I do like about it though is it is really watery and easy to use. You could use it during the day. A lot of the Ordinary ones, which are higher percentage vitamin C, my cat walking in and out of a paper, they're quite heavy, they're in squalene, they're in silicone. You wouldn't necessarily wear them under makeup. This is a nice one to wear under makeup. And I do think you just need a couple of drops, you really do. It's a really easy, pleasant product to use. Now, talking of serums, are you a fan of BioEffect EGF, which is, they use a plant-based, I think it's a barley-based epidermal growth factor. It's a real cult product, and they have launched EGF2A, which is the anti-pollution treatment. I'm a bit in two minds about anti-pollution. I think that most cleansers should be anti-pollution. They should be cleansing your skin. Most antioxidants should be anti-pollution, because what you're doing is protecting the skin from pollution. Let me open it up and show it to you. It's, you know, it's a gorgeous, really nice, easy serum to use, EGF, if you've never tried it. It's one of QVC's best sellers. But I think, I have to say, I've used it. I enjoy using it. I've never seen a visible difference in my skin beyond gorgeous hydration. It's a two-step treatment. So you've got the EGF plus the added free radical scavengers. And you've got step 1, step 2. They're really, really, really lovely to use. They have been beautifully formulated. They come in really lovely, gorgeous pumps with a little button on the top. I mean, they're very, very pleasant, gorgeously hydrating, never dry, never go sticky. They've been beautifully, beautifully formulated, and they are super hydrating. And this now obviously has the added protection as well. What I'm saying is, like with most, I have to say, I do love the fact that they're completely unscented and they smell of active ingredients, but then I'm a freak like that. What I'm saying is they're investing in your skin's future. They're a lot of money, so don't, you know, unless you've got some money to spend, don't think about it. There are other products out there that are more reasonably priced, so you could combine both of those and they'd still be cheaper than the EGF. But I think it's invest now, reap your rewards later. They're a real cult product. So they are my serums to watch first quarter of next year. Now, do you read Sally Hughes's column in The Guardian? If not, you should. She's a friend of mine. I highly respect her. She's a great beauty journalist. She was going on about this the other day. This is the democratization of glycolics, of acid lotions. They used to be super high end, they used to be quite expensive. Anyway, this actually launched 2017. It's the 5% glycolic acid toner from Superdrug, which is the UK. If you're watching outside of the UK, it's our really basic, bog standard, really funky, really interesting new brands, high street drugstore. Anyway, they launched that this year. It's a really lovely product. And I just think that finally acid lotions are beginning to become available from more brands to wear every day, basically as your post cleanser wipe over, a la Pixie Glow Tonic. Nip Fab have Exfoliate Glycolic Liquid Glow, which is, they say, extreme 6%. I don't think 6% is extreme for glycolic. You've obviously already got 5%, so that's one to watch out. And Ren, which is a skincare company, they err on the side of caution. I think they're for sensitive skins. They work on the fact that they're clean, so they put minimum irritating ingredients in them that might sensitize the skin. This is their Ready Steady Glow, which I really love that name. Daily AHA tonic, and that is, she said, looking at it really quickly, lactic acid and azelaic acid to brighten skin. So while that is a glycolic like that one, that is a lactic. I think lactic works really well on drier skin, and the azelaic is really good for pigmentation. That's a really lovely product, by the way, quite reasonably priced. And what I like about that one is, I love those. Do you like those? So instead of shaking it out, you get your, I mean, you would obviously apply it with a cotton wool pad. You put it on the top and you wipe it over your face. All makeup removers should come in a like that. So basically, they are the acid lotions that are launching first quarter of next year. However, I'm not an acid lotions person, and that's because I like to sleep in my acids overnight and I like them to be quite masky. So I use people ask me the whole time, how do you use glycolics or acids? How do you use your retinol? How do you use your vitamin C? I use them all on alternate nights. I try not to use retinoic acid too often because I peel, so I use that 2 or 3 times a week. I use my vitamin C maybe twice a week, and then once a week I leave on an overnight mask. SkinCeuticals! Obviously I love my SkinCeuticals. They are launching Glycolic 10 Renew overnight. You see, don't tell me Nip Fab that your Liquid Glow Extreme at 6% when SkinCeuticals have launched 10%. It's a really beautiful, lightweight, overnight sleep-in glycolic mask. It's lovely. It's really lovely. The funny thing is you apply it, wake up in the morning, beautiful glowy skin, then a couple of days later you notice your skin slightly peeling. But then obviously I am using that and combining that with my retinols, especially at this time of the year. Another one as well, Paula's Choice are now going into this market as well. That's an advanced smoothing treatment, 10% AHA. That's glycolic, lactic and malic. I think that works really well on dry skin. The malic also works particularly well on pigmentation. And that is an interesting one as well. It's an overnight milky serum, which I quite like. So that's the texture of the Paula's Choice. Let me show you the texture of, see, the SkinCeuticals one is thicker. Not that it's more hydrating, they're just different textures. SkinCeuticals, Paula's Choice. My hands are going to look gorgeous. Actually, you know what, let's do a Joan Crawford. Who's watching Feud in the UK? Her and her lemons on her elbows at night. Do you know I was watching that? It's fascinating, that Feud. Obviously, if you're in the States, you've seen it. It's old news. In the UK, it's only showing at the moment. One of them was younger than me and one of them was older than me when they were filming Whatever Happens to Baby Jane. Don't tell me modern skincare and procedures don't work, because the two women playing them, even though they're supposed to be in their early 50s, are in their early 70s. Susan Sarandon, Jessica Lange, looking amazing for their age, obviously with a little help. Yeah, don't quote me on that. Anyway, they look amazing. I'm huge fans of both of them. Amazing actresses, love the series. That's all that little rant, all that little aside, just because I was exfoliating my elbows. Right. Another ingredient you're going to see more of in 2018 is retinol. Murad are going into retinol hugely in the new year. They have a really nice Retinol Youth Renewal Night Cream, if you like creams, and they've got a Retinol Youth Eye Serum. Now, I also have it on good authority that Olay are going to launch a Retinol Eye Serum in 2018, which is hugely interesting news, because it's about time that brands like No. 7 and Olay, that are just staples for so many women, start using retinol, because it's still the gold standard active ingredient. So in other words, Olay are going to launch a high street version of this. So if you don't have Murad money, you might want to wait. Murad also basically are going to start talking about using retinol for all ages, because they're going to start marketing it for people with breakouts, and that obviously includes teenagers and people in their early 20s. Watch this space, I should be talking about it. Right, let's talk cleansers. There are two really interesting cleansers launching early part of next year. One is IT Cosmetics Confidence in a Cleanser. I really love a creamy rinse off, gets rid of every single scrap of makeup cleansing cream. Not really a balm or an oil, because you really need to follow those with an acid toner. All your active ingredients aren't going to go in your skin afterwards. But I do love a really hydrating cream cleanser, and this is sort of a cream cleansing serum. It is really, really lovely. That's my perfect texture for a cleanser. Really, really maybe lightly citrusy scented. Of all products to use that you can use a scent in, I don't mind with a cleanser, it washes off your face so quickly. That's a really nice product coming in 2018. But what about this? I don't know if you follow me on Instagram. If you don't, it's at Nadine Baggott for kind of daily updates. Anyway, I was at Babington just before Christmas with a full face of party makeup on, because we were celebrating Christmas early with Arden, and I just started using this, and I filmed it for a series of stories. This is a fascinating, it's even got my sticky fingerprints on. This is a fascinating cleanser, because it's their Super Start Whip to Clay cleanser. In other words, it goes on like a cream. In fact, I'm going to show you on the back of my hand. It goes on, that's actually moussey. Did you hear that when it came out? Let me put a bit more on. It's a sort of whipped moussey texture, but when you apply it and leave it on your skin, it turns into a mini clay mask. So you get a super, you get an instant cleanse, and then you leave it on as a mask. Smells really nice, actually. Smells kind of slightly cool, cold creamy. I quite like it. And then it turns into a deep cleanse. Once a week, it's the most perfect cleanser stroke mask, and that's what I mean by textures that are changing. When I teased this video, I said look out for what I call transformative products. They are supposed to transform your skin, but what they will do is start off as one texture and turn into another. Started off as a whipped mousse, turned into a clay mask. Got it all over my hands now. Okay, now talking of textures that change, I love also that masks are democratizing, and sheet masks are democratizing. What I love about this one is this is a charcoal tissue mask. So basically traditional charcoal masks are heavy and they go on sort of black, and then you wash them off or you peel them off, obviously. What I love about this one is it's a tissue mask, and I've got that clay all over me, but let me just show you what I mean. So it is wet. Look. There you go. Hydrating and soothing and deep cleansing. That's quite impressive for a mask to make 3 claims like that. Also, they're all made of biocellulose, so they stick to your skin quite well. I'm going to finish filming this and I'll put this on and show you what it looked like, so I'll drop this in. Right, I'm back. I just had to cleanse my hands, sorry, wash my hands, because I had too much product on it. That is my Brilliant, by the way, my makeup eraser, which I discovered in America this year. I went to Miami and discovered it and I absolutely love it. And it basically works with water on its own, but I use it with a cleanser and I just think it absolutely supercharges any cleanser you use, takes off all your makeup. Now, the reason I like that Garnier Pure Charcoal Black Tissue Mask is because it's a triple threat. It hydrates, it soothes, and it deep cleanses, but also it's just so reasonably priced. I love the fact that sheet masks that were 20 or 30 pounds a few years ago, you can now buy for £1 or £2 or dollars. I just think Garnier are doing a really interesting thing with skincare at the moment. They're being quite disruptive. Talking of disruptive companies, oh, what's Beauty Pie up to for 2018, I hear you ask? They're doing a range called Japan Fusion, which is, I mean, for a start, the packaging is gorgeous and is more than a nod to Elixir, but actually the products are fundamentally different. They've used the packaging as inspiration, but the products are really beautiful, hydrating 4 steps. So there is a Hydra Prep lotion based on Korean skincare, which is super hydrating. There is a deep treatment serum, which is really lovely. They're sort of great polyphenols, antioxidants. They're sort of really lovely everyday products to use. We're not talking super high levels of actives or anything like that, but they are really lovely. And then there's a step 3 Supreme Cream, which is a really beautiful moisturizing. I mean, the packaging's so lovely. Very, very, very lightly scented. I mean, there would be a lovely gift for somebody, but they are sort of really lovely 4-step, super hydrating, a nod to Japanese, Korean, Asian skincare, multi-stepped, all gentle, super hydrating. And I think one of the things that really is nice is the Pure Transforming Cleanser, which I tested again the other day. And again, transforming, trust me, it's going to be a big word for this year. It's a lovely, lightweight jelly cream. I mean, barely scented at all. Rinses off, gets rid of every single scrap of makeup. Beauty Pie basically have done it again. I think that it'll probably be in all the magazines in the early part of next year, but I think probably you've heard it here first. Japan Fusion, if you want to go to really beautiful, soothing, gentle, hydrating skincare, not a huge amount of actives, but really caring skincare, that's a great brand to invest in the new year. One final thing before I go, Rosie, and you're going to hate me if you're outside of the UK and you don't have an M&S Beauty, a Marks and Spencer's Beauty. Rosie, if you're ever in the UK or anybody's travelling to the UK, you need to track down Rosie for Autograph. Amazing, amazing, amazing products that basically she originally created the fragrance 5 years ago, and then she created a great range of makeup. I'm going to mention them in my lip dupes video, which is the next one I put up. I mean, they just are really beautiful products. They are a fraction of the price of something like Charlotte Tilbury, but some of the textures are very, very similar, and they are just really, really lovely products, really lovely products. Anyway, it's her anniversary palette, and that is a really interesting, nice palette to use, which will be, I think actually it might have hit shelves end of 2017, but it's a really nice palette if you're interested and you want a nice palette with some, it's got, you know, it's very interesting. It's got a contour and it's got a beautiful cream highlighter and blusher, really lovely. And actually quite some interesting eyeshadow colours. It's got a sort of mossy green colour, dark grey with a soft speckle. And I think if you want to be a little bit more adventurous with your eyeshadow than I normally am, It's quite a nice one to try. Anyway, I just wanted to say happy birthday, happy 5th birthday to Rosie for Autograph. It's good to see that brands can launch and survive, because it's tough out there for beauty brands at the moment. Trust me, there are going to be a lot more glycolic, lactic, malic, azelaic acid peels coming out. Glycolic's still going to be huge, especially overnight. Lots of interesting serums. Retinol, trust me, it's going to filter down to the high street more and more. And then still working on that whole cleanser, cooling, soothing, beautiful products. And finally, let's put this on, shall we? Because obviously I have finished filming for the day. I'm going to put a mask on, not normally, obviously, with all my makeup on underneath. Oh, that's so cooling and soothing after sitting under these lights. It's my nose covered. There you go. Obviously I wouldn't put it on with makeup on normally, I'm not stupid. Oh, how nice is that? Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Next week, lip dupes. I know it's long overdue, but I promise you it's coming. And then I've got an interview with Brandon Truax. I interviewed him in his store in Covent Garden, and he's going to bust some beauty myths with me. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. All the details of the products are down below, but obviously bear in mind some of them will not launch, so it might literally be site, wait list, wait for, because direct product links can't go in, because some of these are not being launched until January, February, March of next year. This year. If you're watching this New Year's Eve, it's next year. If you're watching this New Year's Day, it's this year. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. This actually feels really, really, really lovely. And it's an improvement, right? Can only be improvement on me normally anyway. I'll see you soon for lip dupes next week.